How we doing? How we doing? This is Destination Denver, Colorado, and today I'm giving you 13 reasons not to move to Denver, Colorado in 2024, and we're starting right now. All right, this is Destination Denver, Colorado. I'm your host, Jimmy Everts, and listen, if you're interested in learning all the ins and outs, pros and cons for moving to or around Denver, Colorado, then this is a channel for you. So that subscribe button and notification icon you see on your screen, make sure you click on that as I'm dropping new videos for you each and every week. And as much as I try to be a little entertaining here on camera, I'm also a licensed mortgage broker covering the entire state of Colorado and team with some of Denver's most talented realtors. And we're helping people move here each and every day. So the number and email you see on your screen, know that I am always the person answering your phone calls, answering your texts, answering your emails, there winning if you need me. Now that we're done with that fun-filled stuff, let's get to what we're here for, and that is 13 reasons for not moving to Denver, Colorado in 2024. All right, so listen, as a Denver native or someone who grew up just outside of Denver, obviously there's a lot that I love about Denver and a lot of great reasons to move here. But if we're going to talk about reasons that you're not going to want to move here or you're going to want to move away from here, I think we have to start with affordability. So number one is the rising cost and affordability challenges that Denver faces. We're seeing not just your cost of overall living, your going out, your groceries, your utilities, but certainly housing. Housing is the biggest driver. We've seen rents increase. We've seen our home prices appreciate drastically. And listen, for some that's been great news and for others not so much. So when it comes to affordability here in Denver, one of the first conversations I have with people who are moving here is, are you moving here from a high cost area where Denver is actually affordable? For the most part, you know, there are only so many places that are more expensive than Denver, so cost and affordability is going to be a major matter that you're going to want to pay attention to. Second up on that list, and this is mainly based on feedback I've gotten from clients, friends, colleagues, you name it, is traffic woes. And traffic in Denver continues to be a problem and continues to get worse. Now, that's not just a population increase, which we're going to talk about, it's also an infrastructure issue. Some of these roads are major highways, freeways, etc. They're in areas where you can't really expand them. Using an example of I-25, our north-south highway, I-25 wraps right through or right around downtown Denver. And in that stretch of road, let's call it maybe a 5, 6, 7 mile stretch of road, there's no way you can add extra lanes to it. So as all this congestion happens in the city, you tend to see traffic slow down in that area no matter what time of day it is, unless it's 2 o'clock in the morning and then it becomes a speed trap. But that infrastructure, traffic woes, definitely an issue for Denver. Now again, like I mentioned with high cost areas, I tend to hear that people moving from really populated areas, LA, New York, Miami, Chicago, they say Denver traffic is nothing, and anyone else who is not used to that kind of congestion, then Denver can drive them crazy. And number three, what's causing all this traffic and all this high cost? An influx of population. Shocker. And I guess I could have put that number one or number two, but I don't know, this is where it ended up on my list. So Denver has seen a pretty substantial increase in its population over the last 10 and now, basically the last 20 years. Now that currently, the last year or two has leveled off to an extent. And I think what you're seeing is we still get a pretty sizable influx of people moving here, but we're also seeing people, whether it's for quality of life or affordability, you're starting to see people moving away from Denver, if not Colorado altogether. So the population increase has stabilized to some extent. You still have a much bigger city than we had 5, 10, 15 years ago. And maybe they're not moving here, but they're still visiting here. So number 4 on our list is the increase of tourism, or how much tourism you see here. Now, Denver has always been a place where people would fly in. A lot of them are heading up to the mountains, especially in the wintertime. They're going up to ski, snowboard, what have you. But as Denver, the city, has become bigger, and as it's had more restaurants and music scenes and all of these different things for people to come and do, we're seeing more and more tourism come here as well. The legalization of cannabis had a big thing to do with that as well. and I can't say for certain. I mean, I think we still get a fair amount of people visiting Colorado or visiting Denver, and that's kind of one of the things they do, but I don't necessarily think that we get a ton of people just coming to Denver because cannabis is legal. I don't know if that is specifically why someone comes here. The fifth, and this is kind of one that I could have put lower down on the list, but it just kind of rolled with where I was at the time, and that is street parking. And this is just feedback that I get, again, along with traffic, a lot of tourism, is street parking. And this is whether people are visiting and going to different areas or whether it's in the neighborhoods they live in. But there are communities in Denver, especially as you get into our higher population areas, the Highlands, Rhino, or 5 Points as we call it, come to mind. These can be areas where it can be tricky to park. And I think Denver overall has gotten better about making it permit parking for neighborhoods so that people can find their parking spots. But there are times where you are parking several blocks from where you live or where you are visiting. I think that is going to be a population matter no matter what city you live in. But in Denver, it's something that a lot of people are complaining about, and thus I'm passing on that complaint to you. And I know there's some kid from the Bronx right now like, parking? That's the problem Denver has? Parking? Get out of here. Number 6, if you don't like street parking, you can lean on our inconsistent public transportation. Now, what I mean by inconsistent is this, because again, this is kind of one of those things where I get a little back and forth. We have a light rail system here that can be very convenient for people who live near one of these light rail stations. So like I'm in Lakewood, I'm in an area where I can get to a light rail station in, let's say maybe 5 minutes, I'd say 10 if I'm on a bike. However, there's parts of Lakewood where I might be 30 to 35 minutes from that same light rail station. There's not a lot of areas that you can live that are right near a light rail. If you do, it's a great benefit, but if you don't, odds are you may never ride the light rail. Same thing with our busing system. Our busing system can be extremely useful for certain people who live near a route that they need. But if we're just talking about using the busing and light rail system to get around no matter where you live, that may be a significant challenge for you. That was also some of the bigger feedback I got from people who were, again, coming from cities where the public transportation has, long been in place, has a strong foundation. Denver isn't really a place that you're going to come to, with some exceptions. It's not really a place you're going to come to and just lean on public transportation for all of your needs. Number 7, and I feel the wrath of some of my friends for this one, but it's the social clickiness of Denver, and I hear about this. Now, I think I'm a native, so I'm a little, I don't know, jaded here. Maybe I'm a little, I don't know the right word. I feel like Denver is a pretty open and warm place. I feel like the people that I have always met here have been open and warm. However, I am hearing more and more that as it becomes a bit more of a melting pot, that people do get a little more closed off, that they're not as friendly, and that if you're not into their activities, so say you meet some folks and they're big into the outdoors and you're not, well, we ain't got time for you, you indoorsy person, you. So social clickiness has been something that has been mentioned. I do believe that's going to be on an individual basis, and I believe that some people, I want to sound, this is going to sound terrible, some people are better at making friends than others, and some people are better at being open to new friends than others. But that was something that enough people mentioned where I thought I needed to mention it to you. Basically, Denver's just filled with jerks now. Number 8, Denver has a very strong economy, very strong job market. It's based off of a lot of different industries. However, playing onto that is the idea that the high-paying jobs can be highly competitive. And again, that gets repeated a lot. So if you're moving to Denver, looking for high-level positions, high-pay positions, odds are there are a lot of people who have moved to Denver seeking that same job, that same opportunity. So while the job market itself can be healthy, while the economy and our job market as a whole can be very healthy, some of these high-level or high-paying positions, those can be the tricky part. Number 9, and kind of this is a two-parter. 1, we can have some long winters. So if you are a warm weather person or you're someone that just can't deal with cold weather, it's not your thing, Denver can. We've had some very minor winters, but like last winter seemed to go on forever. It started early, lasted longer, It's pretty wild. So if winters are not your thing, if snow's not your thing, you know, Denver may not, and you may not want to move north of Denver either, because there's a lot of the country where it's going to be worse, but Denver can have long winter. And tying into that is the unpredictability of our weather. Now, I think Denver, we like to say that our weather changes so much and it can be rainy and snow, and it does. I also think that there are other places in the world, if not, you know, just the United States, where that is true, but the weather can change here very quickly. And you can have days where you get up in the morning and you feel like, oh, I need to throw on 3 layers of clothes. And you know, an hour later, you're like, why am I wearing 3 layers of clothes? Why am I not in shorts and flip-flops? So weather can change fast. So if you don't like cold weather and you don't like weather that changes potentially rapidly, Denver might not be the best place for you weather-wise unless you're indoorsy, and then it doesn't matter anyway. Kind of tying into those two things, but yet its own, is number 10, and that is our air quality. And this one kind of sucked to write. It sucks to talk about it in videos, because there was a period of time where I thought this can't last. But Denver's air quality is on the struggle bus. Pollution, smog, a lot of smoke from fires in Canada and California, among other areas, but a lot of smoke. So there are days where, you know, from my house, you know, I can see downtown Denver, and there's days where it just has that haze. And that is something that did not exist just a few years ago. So hopefully something we can work on, but air quality in Denver is not the best it has ever been. And speaking of air quality, and since one can, you know, perhaps make the other worse, number 11, this time I'm gonna use double fingers, number 11 is our seasonal allergies. Now, for those of you who do not have seasonal allergies, you do not suffer from them, you're lucky, and I'm jealous of you. So, at least for myself, there's always a few weeks, if not a little longer, but there's always a few weeks of every year, maybe a month and a half, maybe 2 months, maybe I'm saying a few weeks when it's like 8 weeks, where my allergies go crazy. For me, tends to be around June, July, maybe into August. But then there's also years where I don't feel anything, and then September hits, and it's just Niagara Falls with tears and snot, all sorts of stuff that you don't want to know about from some stranger on camera. But seasonal allergies in Denver and the local area can be bad. One thing that I would also add is how different areas of Denver can be. So, you know, you might be downtown or east of Denver, in Aurora, areas like that, and I won't have any allergies there. I come out closer to the mountains, closer to Green Mountain, Lakewood, where I live, just something here. And I don't know if it's pollen, I don't know what's happening. So seasonal allergies can be a problem. I know that's way too much information about me and my allergies, but you're watching my video, so that's the best I could share with you. And a little pro tip, take some local honey. If you come, take some local honey, eat a spoonful of it, you know, every week or so. Really helps with your allergies. That's free information for me to use. Take it, throw it away, it don't matter. Couple more to go, and we're sort of lighthearted, but sort of serious. Number 12, local government. And this is because Denver has shifted from a primarily red state to a purple state to now we're pretty blue. We are pretty blue. And some people are gonna love that. Some people are gonna move here for that reason. Listen, I'm not taking sides. Conservatives, the thing that kind of cracks me up about them is that they comment the most. I don't get a lot of liberals commenting like, oh, that's wonderful, it's always the conservatives. You ruined it. But anyway, Denver, I digress. Denver is pretty blue at the moment. So if you don't like that, you can either not move here, or you could move here and try to change it. I don't know, do your thing, but just be aware of that. That's number 12, local politics. And number 13, because I can't wait to see my comments on this, but Denver has this fascination with California. Californication. Yeah, we just have, as long, I mean, I was 5, 6 years old, and I would hear my parents talking about how, mainly my dad, who's from Pennsylvania, like he has anything to talk about, but, you know, complain about people from California moving to Denver and just ruining the state. It's all, you know, it's the people of California. It's not the guns, it's the people of California. So we do get that, and there are a lot of people from California here. There's also a lot of people from Florida, Texas, Arizona. Those tend to be the states that come here. But just be prepared, whether it's true or not, that if something is wrong with Colorado, we blame it on California, but we also have a lot of California vibes here. I don't know if that's right. It's not like Surfer Boy vibes, but you get a little Californication here. That's it. Want to sneak in some Red Hot Chili Peppers? What you got for me? But think that's just 13 reasons to not move to Denver, Colorado. There could be more, but some of those could also be like, that's baby stuff, Jimmy. I want to move to Denver. And if you do, that's the perfect opportunity to give me a call with my number and email on the screen. I'm always the person answering those, whether it's call, email, or text. In the meantime, this is Destination Denver, Colorado. I am your host, Jimmy Everts. That was 13 reasons for not moving to Denver, Colorado in 2024. Until I see you next time, peace.